peace and blessings, and welcome to another edition of King Talk Tuesdays, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. We include so many topics, whether it's education, health, economics, spirituality, and so much more. I look forward to you all joining me for more dynamic and inspiring conversations each and every week. King Talk Tuesdays is streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube every Tuesday at 8 p.m. King Talk Tuesday also airs on BronxNet every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. on Optimal Channel 70 and Fios Channel 2136. We're also streaming on a number of services such as Roku TV, Amazon Prime, Millennial TV 24, and Clash TV. I encourage all viewers to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our previous episodes. You can also check your local listings to catch some of our prior and some of our King Talk Tuesdays that are airing throughout the week. I want to thank everyone who's been tuning in and watching King Talk Tuesdays over the years. You know what I always say, right? You got to remember what? People pay attention to people who participate. That's right. So invite your friends, your neighbors, to let them know that King Talk Tuesdays is on. King Talk Tuesdays is on, and they can drop a comment or a question on our Facebook or our YouTube section, or they can email us at kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. Again, our email address is kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. We'll be right back on King Talk Tuesdays after a couple of words from our friends.
Good Neighbors Community Outreach Agency provides programs that help community residents improve their lives and support their families. Are you in need of food, clothing, employment, or a home? We also provide immigration services and passport renewal.
Hi, I'm Pastor Glad.
And I'm Lady D.
We're here to serve you.
Need help?
Ask us.
You can reach us by calling 718-652-3288 or visit us at gncdcny.org.
Andy King for Thorough Dynamics. The vision of Thorough Dynamics was something that was bred over 25 years ago that allows people to get their physical rehabilitation services back to life. What we've done over the last year is do a total revamping, a total reorganizing. How do we service people? Because service is anything you do to improve the lives of others. If you don't have your body strong, if you don't have health, you have nothing else. Visit our website at thoroughDynamics.com or call us at 866-256-0937. Oh yeah, that's what it's all about, getting your body back to life. There's a lot going on in this world, and we struggle with trying to get our health together. So please, do all you can to stay healthy, because without your health, you don't have anything else. And I want to thank the people and the team at Good Neighbors for all they do. Pastor Peart, Pastor Good, Lady D, and all the families that come out to get service each and every day. We're thankful and grateful for all the work that you do. You know, there are so many things that are happening in the world today, but you know what I really want to know? Oh, as the good legendary singer Marvin Gaye would always say, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Well, let's talk about what's going on. Well, we want to let you know, coming up on the 15th of June, SUV Stand Up to Violence will hold its annual peace walk Thursday, June 15th at 5:30 p.m. The meeting place will be meeting on the corner of Astor Avenue and Wallace Avenue. We are going to take a walk up from there all the way up White Plains Road, all the way to East 229th Street. As June is Gun Violence Awareness Month, you know, in any type of violence, we need to be aware of and do all that we can as humans to stop, bring it down, deter it, and live better as neighbors, friends, and community. Secondly, we want to let you know that June, as we just said, was Gun Violence Awareness Month. So please do all that you can to be smarter, better. And if you know somebody who's engaged in a lifestyle that hurts community, please share with those who can help correct the activity. That's what's being stronger and better together as a neighborhood and a community. And lastly, we want to let you know the 50th anniversary of hip hop is here. August 11th is happening. There's going to be a hip hop live concert happening at Yankee Stadium. Tickets are $50. Featured performers include Snoop Dogg in the house, Ice Cube, Little Kim, Remy Ma, Slick Rick is going to be in the house. DJ Kool Herc, who helped kicked it off and back in the 70s at the basement doing his community parties, as well as these are the breaks, Mr. Curtis Blow, and Melly Mel, the pioneer of hip hop, and so many more. So please get your tickets and don't miss this 50th year anniversary celebration at Yankee Stadium. And we want to let you know, lastly, today was a rough day for those of you who are suffering with any type of respiratory issues. The air quality advisory was issued due to stroke and wind fires that have been happening in Canada. So it's impacting the city's air. So if you know anybody has any heart or breathing issues, please make sure they're careful when they're outside and try to limit any outdoor activities and stay indoors. Well, today we're having a conversation about community and what? Politics, not politics, but politics. And we got two young ladies who are in the thick, and have been doing community work and working there towards engaging in the world of politics. I want to welcome to the first time the King Talk Tuesdays, two wonderful ladies. The first one, who is the district leader for, let me get it right, not district. She is the community board manager of District 11. I think I got it right, with the community board president, but she's going to tell us anyway. But she's a wonderful person because she's been doing the work for decades. But guess what? She's also a candidate for the New York City Council District 13. District 13, to bring her energies, her smart, her wisdom, her dedication, and her truth from the community that raised and educated her to service the people at another level in the neighborhoods of starting. She's going to break it down to us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to First Time to King Talk Tuesdays. Bernadette Perez in the house.
Thank you, Andy. Wow. I'm going to be listening to that intro for a while.
Well, we welcome you and we thank you for all that you've done, and we're looking forward to the great conversation you're going to deliver for our people who are tuning in tonight for tonight's show. Secondly, we want to introduce your partner who's making it happen and who's done a lot of wonderful work throughout the neighborhood as well. We want to thank her because I've learned as a former candidate, as a former councilman, someone who's done this before, that you can't do it without putting together a strong team. So we just want to bring somebody who's done the work, who's doing the work, and she's a strategist when it comes to campaign. We want to welcome to the first time King Talk Tuesday, Sister Ruth Papasan. How you doing, Ruth? How you feeling?
Doing great. Thank you.
It's wonderful to see both of you tonight. We're so grateful to have you on tonight. We're going to ask you a couple of questions, get to know you, let our viewers get to see what you're all about, and then just keep having some fun at the same time. So first, I got to go to the candidate. First, we just want to know, the first question that's commented, like, Bernadette, who's Bernadette? Ferraro is who's that? Farrah Fawcett? I mean, what are we talking about? Like, no, what are you talking about? No, it's not a car. She's a woman who's been doing wonderful work in the neighborhoods of the Bronx. So talk to us about, who is Bernadette Ferraro?
Well, again, thank you, Andy. This is a wonderful opportunity. And I just love your style. Got to tell you.
Thank you.
So I'm Bernadette Ferraro. I am the chair of Community Board 11. I am also the president of Van Ness Neighborhood Alliance. I'm also a founding member of that organization. I have been a community activist, and I have been doing constituent services work of a city council person for about 14 years and then some. My common sense, community-oriented platform focuses on crime, opportunity, public health, and education. I oppose cashless bail. I oppose defunding the police. I support the small businesses and startups. I oppose the mask and vaccine mandates and shutting schools and businesses. I am very in favor and support wholeheartedly the parents' rights in education when it comes to their children going to public school. I'm a different kind of Democrat. I believe that an elected official should represent the community and the things that the communities are supporting, and not a political or personal agenda that destabilizes the community and makes them more dangerous than what they are. Unlike Marjorie Velasquez, I am not in the pocket of any union or specialized interests, and will work very, very hard to make life better for you and for our community and for our city.
Okay. All right. Well, that's intro one. All right. Intro one. I thank you for the intro. We've learned and heard about your political views of who is Sister Farrar. We want to thank you for those early words. We're going to dive a little bit and find a little bit about who you are as a person or your family and get that now that we've got who you are as far as your stand as running for as a candidate in the 13th district. But you have a team. We have a person here, Sister Ruth. I like to call it, Sister Ruth is in the house. So, Sister Ruth, we want to know, the viewers want to know a little bit about who are you? What do you do? How do you play into all this?
Well, for many years, I was a health and medical journalist, and COVID kind of proved to me that medical journalism, which I thought was based on science, is as politicized as any other beat in journalism. And that saddened me a lot because health is very important, and getting accurate information about health is very important. And that didn't happen during COVID. So I decided to go into the slightly more honest profession of politics. So I left journalism. And for me, the ideal candidate is Bernadette. She has selflessly served her community for 14 years. In fact, I met her 10 years ago. I was one of the ones, I think there were about 1,500 people around the country chosen to beta test Google Glass. So I was running around the neighborhood, going, behind the scenes at restaurants to see how they made their dishes and things like that. And I attended my first community board meeting 10 years ago wearing Google Glass. And that's where I saw Bernadette in action, and I was very impressed. And as I got to know her over the years, she is extremely selfless, and she gives everything she has to her community, her neighbors, whatever she does. I can tell you stories that you wouldn't believe it. Like, well, one of them is funny because, being on her campaign, and Bernadette knows what I'm going to say. This was during petitioning, and you know how rough petitioning is, Andy. I mean, it's a blood sport here. You try to get your signatures, and then there's people that are going to try to knock you off the ballot. We both been spending a lot of time at Board of Elections lately and running into each other, right? Well, so, and they moved the primaries, so now you have to petition in the dead of winter, and it gets dark, and nobody wants to open their doors after dark. You know how it is. So, Bernadette's coming home after hours and hours of pounding the pavement, getting signatures. It's dark already. And, a candidate has a lot of things to do, right? And I had the checklist for her. No Bernadette. I'm calling. No Bernadette. No Bernadette. Where's Bernadette? Where's Bernadette? She finally calls me around 10 o'clock at night. On her way home, she saw a little baby raccoon in the street that had been hit by a car. And she spent 3 hours trying to save its life. And she did save its life. And while doing it, she called animal control. She called 311. At some point, the neighbors realized there was something going on. So she rallied them, and one of them got a cat carrier and she gently nudged it. And oh my God. And, of course, as her campaign manager, I'm pulling my hair out, as her strategist, I'm pulling my hair out like, Bernadette, you had this to do, that to do, da-da-da. But then at the same time, I said, only Bernadette. She cares about everyone and everything in this community, including a baby raccoon. You gotta love that. Come on.
Hell yeah. That is a real testament of the character of Miss Ferraro. So,
I mean, I'm a curmudgeon, and I'm a curmudgeon, but I have to applaud her.
Thank you.
Well, then that leads us to the next question, because we're trying to understand. The question came and it says, well, why is she running? Who is she? We just heard her platform, but as a human being, who is Bernadette? And I said, well, she's going to tell you exactly, but you just jumped in and told us a little about her compassion for animals, her compassion for life. So if someone wants to say to you, other than why you're running, give us the 5 characteristics that make up Bernadette Ferraro.
Love for my community, number one. Going the extra mile for issues that people have. Getting phone calls at 1 o'clock in the morning from constituents and saying, Berm, what can I do? Who can I call? can you help me? Can you put me in the right place? It's like, yeah, I'm right on it. It doesn't matter. Can you go outside and make a video of the people having a huge band at 1 o'clock in the morning? And I got to get up at 5 in the morning. I don't want to go out there. I've done that. I've gone out in my pajamas and I have taken a video incognito, believe it or not. And I actually was like, okay, I'm doing the 311. I'm sending it in. Let me know when they stop. And you know, it is a true passion for the quality of life that is so important in any community, and having that go across the board, and just being a doer. To me, it's like, why wait in the wings and ask somebody else to help when you could do it yourself? And that's the most important thing that I bring as to who I am to not only to Community Board 11, not only to Van Est, where I'm born and raised my son, went to school, went to high school. It's the love. It's the love of where you are and the respect of the history that got you to where you are today, and showing by example.
Okay. All right. Well, we're glad you're showing by example. So showing by example now, we're really gonna get into the heart and potatoes of why are you running for Council District 13?
It's a very good question. It's a very big question. I am really running to show that there are things that the community needs to be focused on. I do feel right now that the focus of a lot of our elected officials are putting our community second, the needs of the community second, instead of prioritizing agendas, political agendas, as opposed to the people that they were elected to represent. And I feel that that is one of the most important things, is why I'm running.
Okay. Ruth, talk to. She just gave us the reasons why she's running. What is your inspiration to help her, and why are you part of the Ferrara team?
Well, first, because she is such a selfless and good human being. She's honest. She does her best all the time. She always shows up. And I think we need more people like this in office, frankly. She is not self-serving. She is not being bankrolled by special interests where, she will vote a certain way to please the people who, paid for her campaign or whatever. I mean, Bernadette's campaign is completely grassroots. And frankly, again, it's a little selfish on my part. This is my district and I want a good representative. So sometimes you got to roll up your sleeves and do it yourself, right? So I want to get her elected so that I have good representation.
All right. Now, I appreciate that, because you, as not only your campaign manager, but you are a resident of the 13th district as well. So we have to ask the question of you, Bernadette, for our, I know you've done some community work, you have decades in, but explain to my viewers, why are you qualified to even run for this office seat?
A good question. I think my years of solving problems, my years of listening, my years of saying, you know what, if I don't have the answer, I'm going to find the answer. I'm going to find somebody who actually has more details, and I'm going to make sure that we are going to put you on the road. We're going to solve the problem. We are going to find the best road. I'm going to listen to what you have to say. I'm going to listen to what the process and the procedures are. I'm going to listen to our laws. I'm going to fight for the things that are going to support our community. I'm not going to take away from the police. I'm going to see maybe where they need to be improved. Maybe understanding more mental illness and substance abuse, getting more training, not taking money away from them, not basically taking their tools away. I want to work with them because you know what? They're going to be standing in a situation where they're going to have to support me. They're going to help me. You have to look at that. That's one of the things that's so important to remember. Everybody has to be able to solve problems. And our situations are, sometimes they're repetitive. So you get to be, you get to see the process and the pathway. And when they blindside you and come in front of you and you go like, well, you gotta step up to the plate.
Okay. All right. So let's jump back in it. I'm going to stick with you because you are the candidate and you're running. And we know that you are the chair of president of Van Ness, and you also were, is currently still are the chair of Community Board 11, correct?
Yes.
So the question begs you, now you want to be the council member. So can you explain a little bit for our viewers, as simple as this is, here's a softball, what does the city council do?
Well, the city council person actually represents its constituents. That is an umbrella factor. There are things that the constituents will tell you, either very blatantly, or you have to ask, and you need to listen. What is it that you want in that building there? What has the community been asking for years? What is it that you are lacking? How do we improve education in the community? How do we plant seeds for the future of our children in District 13? Now, how important is that? In planting seeds for our district. Our children are our future. So why wouldn't a city council person ask those questions? What about keeping the community together? What are the things that and each community is different. Each neighborhood has different quality of life issues. But what you will find is that there is a common thread through many of the communities. And that's what's important. What are the common threads? District 13 is very vast, and it has a very different fabric as opposed to District 17, District 14, District 12. So you have to know the fabric of your community. And you have to know what your constituents want, and you have to be the best representative, and you have to explain things clearly and answer questions and be present.
Answer questions clearly and be present. Love it. They got to understand what you're talking about. You can't be, just blowing smoke in there, huh? Or someplace else. God bless.
A lot of people do. And they're very good at it.
Oh yeah. So we got a campaign strategist that's here. I don't know. What's a campaign strategist? Come on, Ruth, talk to us. What is a campaign strategist?
I will tell you what it is. It's her.
Well, what I do is I work with Bernadette to find out what are her passions, what's important to her, and what she wants to accomplish in office. And we build the campaign around that, try to get her message out. One of the things that, you want to contrast yourself with your opponent. Now, as it turns out, there's ranked choice voting here. So you have several candidates running in a primary, and you really have to create a difference between you and your opponents. And as Bernadette mentioned, she's a different kind of Democrat. So that is very different from Marjorie Velasquez, for example. With Bernadette, you can tell just from the issues that she talked about earlier that she's old school, community-oriented, common sense, and she doesn't want to follow any sort of political agenda. She wants to represent the community. And Marjorie, the rap on her around here is basically she goes along to get along. She doesn't fight for the community. I don't know if she's afraid to stand up to the radicals on the city council, but she has voted with them 100% of the time on things that were actually harmful to this community or deeply opposed to this, by the people in this community. So I don't know if she wants to be Miss Popularity. I don't know if she's weak. I don't know if she's afraid to stand up. I don't know what her problem is, frankly, because I don't know her personally. She seems nice enough when you see her at events, etc. But the thing is, she doesn't stand up for this community. She doesn't fight for this community. And when you see what she talks about, the things she talks about on social media, and the things that Bernadette talks about on social media, and Bernadette has started running campaign ads now. When you see what Bernadette is talking about, is very different from what Marjorie talks about. Very, very different. And the contrast is clear. This is an election with a choice. And this is not an election where you need to stay home because you don't know what this one stands for, that one stands for. There's a very clear choice. Yes. Very clear this time.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you recognizing you're saying and stating that there's a clear choice. You mentioned something, a common sense Democrat. So talk to us, Bernadette. What does that actually mean before we go to break? We got about 3 minutes before we go to break. Talk to us about what is this common sense that Sister Ruth is talking about?
Well, really, common sense is it starts with actually listening to what the community wants and saying, wait a minute, let's what does the law say? And 2 + 2 = 4, and that makes sense. Why are we not doing? And there's always a question: why hasn't it been done for decades? To me, if something is lagging, and I will give the example of course, in Community Board 11, and like, remember, I've born, raised, and I am still here in Van Nest. So I have seen the motion picture. So, and I have lived it, and I will tell you, we've needed middle schools for actually about 20 years. And when I came into Community Board 11, I said, I have a crazy work schedule, but I have to do something. I need to be on the education committee because that's where my passion is. And that's where I need to know, well, how are we going to get the need of the community and actually manifest it? What is the process? Why hasn't it been done? And what do we do? And that has been, out of all of the committees, I only had time for that one. And I was coming from Manhattan, trying to get into my car and get to a meeting at 7:00. But I did it. I did it because I needed to know, why don't we have this? That's the common sense. What is the process? Okay. Another issue. Growing up, we had Catholic schools to give us our volunteer programs in the gym, etc. But I will just give you, for example, Pelham Parkway, Van Nest, and Morris Park have not had community centers for their children for decades. I'm not talking about just 10 years. I'm talking about 10, 20, 30 years. Why do our children not deserve to have that? Why are they getting in trouble? Why is they being consumed by, becoming a drug runner for extra money? I mean, 10-year-olds. Why is that happening? And this is the common sense. It's community oriented. It's looking things square between the eyes and saying, okay, look, this has to be addressed. We need to move forward. So, I'm not the type to stand in the wings and watch something happen and not do something about it. I will stand there naked to the wind, and I will take it. I will be in the trenches. I will be in the foxholes, because that's what has to be done.
Okay. Well, we thank you and we appreciate those words as we get ready to go into halftime of King Talk Tuesday. As a former basketball player, I do my halftime. I gotta get my stretch on, make sure my jumper's still flowing.
That's right. I'm still getting. Hey, I did forward. I was a forward.
There you go. So you know what it takes.
I still could do my foul shots.
Oh, all right. Now got a nice free throw. Follow through, huh?
That's
okay,
right.
That's what we're talking about. So now, if you know what it is to be on an athletic gridiron, then you know the dedication that's determined to win a game each and every day. So
teamwork.
Thank you, both of you. So listen, we're going to take a quick break on King Talk Tuesdays, the show with real views, real news, real talk, right after a message from a couple of our friends.
Evolution of hip hop. Bronx Terminal Market. 610 Exterior Street. Bronx, New York. Tuesday through Sunday. Pull up.
The Golden Era, 1986 through 1990.
Hi, Frank Perez here from Eastchester Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. It's our Durangos Must Go inventory sell-off. Over 145 Dodge Durangos, all trims, all options, all colors, all must go. The all-wheel drive Durango has it all. Style, comfort, cutting-edge technology, and loaded with safety features. Get up to $2,750 bonus cash and even make no payments for 90 days. It's our Durangos Must Go inventory sell-off. Eastchester Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Pay the least in the East.
Oh yeah, pay the least in the East with East Chrysler Jeep. I'm your host, Andy King. We want to let you know this is the 50th year anniversary of hip hop, so make sure you make yourself over to the Hip Hop Museum. They have a little bunker that's happening over there right now, so please go on over there to their little satellite site till they open up the big. I think it's 5,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet. They have opening up next year. But you're tuning in to King Talk Tuesday, the show with real views, real news, and real talk. We cover so many topics, whether it's economics, education, health, spirituality, and so much more. We air every Tuesday live on Facebook and our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. We also are streaming live on a number of streaming services such as Roku TV, Amazon Prime, Millennial TV 24, and Clash TV. There's so many people we want to thank who've been tuning in and sending a message because we want you to continue to follow and watch King Talk Tuesdays every Thursday that when we come on Optimal Channel 70 and Fios Channel 2136. Send us a message right now if you can on our Facebook or our YouTube, and we'll take comments or receiving emails at kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. Again, our email address is kingtalktuesdays@gmail.com. Well, halftime, we do go into a moment in time that we just want to offer grace and prayer to the world. The world's been a little crazy for the last couple of years, flipped upside down between the pandemic and between economics and between health and just between education and more important, the spirituality or the lack of spirituality that we are experiencing on this earth today. So I'm just asking everyone to find that centerpiece. Find that something allows you to free yourself, to offer up, to gain that peace within inside you. For me, it's the Most High in Christ. And each and every day, I know that He carries my steps each and every day, because if I walk and if I fall, trust me, concrete hurts. So I'd rather give it up to Him to carry me through all the trials and tribulations, to stand strong in His word, to live in His word, love in His word, and be in His word. So whatever you can do, say a prayer. Say a prayer for yourself. Say a prayer for your neighbors. Say a prayer for your friends. Say a prayer for your community. Say a prayer for your enemies. Say a prayer for your frenemies. But just say prayers. Just offer up something that's greater than yourself so you can manage the world that we are all living in today. So with that being said, we're going to jump into the second half of King Talk Tuesdays. We have two dynamic young ladies who are joining us tonight. We're talking about community and politics. We want to welcome back Bernadette Ferrer, who's a candidate for the New York City Council 13th District, and also Ruth Papaza, who is a strategic political strategist who's going to talk more about where we are in the world of politics as we get through this cycle going into election that leads into June 27th. So we ended up talking about common sense Democrat. What was that message kind of mean? But I want to jump back into, we want to know a little bit about the issues that are happening in the 13th candidate Ferreira, and talk to us a little bit about what are some of the things that you see that requires addressing in the 13th district and the city of New York.
Well, I'm glad we have some time to talk about it because there are quite a few. Okay, I spoke briefly on locality, but we have what we have to address right now is the majority of upzoning proposals that are just attacking across District 13. And not just here in Community Board 11, but in Throgs Neck. And it is destabilizing, to say the least. And that's one issue. That is a major issue. Okay. We have other legislation that is being passed without you or I knowing anything about it. And that's something that That is the most important thing. For example, you know, our team Ferrara does not have any special interest groups, and we are not payrolled. There is no developers that we have to pay homage to or discuss things with. But we are focused on the issues at hand, the upzoning proposals, not only in the Bruckner upzoning. Everybody has been following that. And I have been rallying all last year at different talks, different rallies against it. Okay. The people who live in District 13. We are very diverse. And oh my God, nobody can say that we are not. We have young, we have old, we have archaic, we have so many people living there. We have young people. We have nationalities that, we have a list of nationalities. But the one thing that we love is the fact that we are not a high density neighborhood. We have, areas of that. And we are basically a low density neighborhood. But lately, with all of the upzoning proposals, there seems to be a bulldozing effect with that, where our elected officials are voting for it. And we are surprised about that, since there have been rallies against it. And that's what Marjorie did. That's one thing that Marjorie did that I have to say, I think was a bit of a shock to many people. And it's not just that one. We also have the Just Home Seminole project that basically got revealed to our community last June. And it was discussed before that, but it got revealed to the community boards that were the Community Board 11 that was invited and presentation. And I actually had to run a meeting. So the vice chair, well, at that time it wasn't chair. So the chair went there, and everybody was just, very, very disappointed and very shocked. So, and then we have the Metro North unveiling that happened on December 13th and December 14th to the community. Now, bear in mind, I had been a part of the city planning's discussion since 2011, when their outreach to community leaders discussing about, well, what would you like about if there was a Metro North station in Parkchester? And we make sure it was Parkchester Van Ness because it was in Community Board 11. So, and Morris Park, I said, it's wonderful. There were workshops. I had been there discussing. Communities were asked, people, what would you like to see? These workshops were wonderful. And then on December 13th and 14th of 2022, the surrounding area proposals were revealed. I have to tell you, I was speechless, and that's pretty hard to do for me. I was like 46 blocks of upzoning proposals between Parkchester Van Ness train station and the Morris Park train station. And within that, there are going to be 6,000 new units. And within that, it's going to be close to 18,000 to 20,000 new residents. And deeper than that is that the city council resolution says that, well, anything over 40 apartments, you have to have 15% given to the homeless. I'm like, where did this come from? How come this wasn't discussed? It was basically just given to us on a silver platter.
Wow.
So,
any other topics you would like to add? As before I want to bring Ruth in, but if there's any other topics, we talked about housing. I heard you talk about the density. As I've watched a number of communities get, I would like to use the term, that's a good term to be kind, saying density as opposed to just overpopulating spaces. People understand overpopulation, and you can't take a space that navigated 400 people, then all of a sudden you put 1,600 people in the space, and then the infrastructure has to take a toll, takes a toll. So, talk to us a little bit more about your platform when it comes to housing, or whether it comes to safety, or whatever else that you were talking about in economics.
Yes, as far as, let me just go back to another things on the list there. Just recently, uh, um, Marjorie Velasquez voted for giving the rights to homeless people to live anywhere in our District 13. So what that means is that um, our Pelham Parkway Greenway, uh, they will have a right to live in our parklands and in our playgrounds. So that has passed. That is a law that has passed just recently. And that's a bit disturbing because, for example, our Pelham Parkway Greenway, and we also have Ferry Point Park, we have Bicentennial Park, we have areas at Silver Beach, Edgewater Park, we have areas in Throgs Neck. We have so many areas where they will be populated for the right for homeless people to populate themselves wherever the parklands are and wherever our playgrounds are. And we have to talk about public safety with that. Uh, are the people who are going to be populated, are they going to have mental illness? Are they going to have substance abuse? Because quite honestly, that should be dealt with if somebody does have mental illness, and we've all seen that. We know, we have friends, we have family members, we understand. We're not blind to what the issues are. Let's be real. And they really need resources and programs. Anybody who has a substance abuse, they shouldn't just be put into a housing project or a shelter. They need to be taken care of. They deserve that right to be taken care of. So that's one issue. So let me have one more, and then I'll hand it over to you. Okay. So just, tell me to time out. But the other thing is, I was very disturbed with this and it's in an article that Marjorie said that she wants safe spaces to be put in every corner in District 13. And I was kind of disturbed. Safe spaces, what does that mean? Well, those are safe spaces for substance abuse, for junkies to shoot up. I'm like, whoa, excuse me, what does that mean? Is that going to be put next to a school? Is that going to be put by a parkland? Is that going to be put by a house of worship? What? So those are some major issues that I have to say I am extremely opposed to.
Well, as someone who works with youth and community, I this is one of the few times that I just rarely just support and subscribe what a viewer, a guest is saying. But you're absolutely right. When it comes to safe spaces, I think the greatest thing, if someone is caught in the grips of addiction, the greatest thing that you can do is get them help, to get them off that addiction, to transition them to be a quality person again, not feed the addiction by offering them a safe spot with the hope that they might get off because they'll get tired or they get a bad dose or something. I don't know all I can say that's irresponsible. That's the devil, if you ask me, talking and messing up communities. So, but I want to thank you for that position, because that kills families, that kills neighborhoods, and that kills communities. So thank you for that. Thank you, and that's strong. So Ruth, you heard your candidate drop a little science on the things that matter. As a campaign strategist, how do you guide and move this messaging in the district when there are a number of candidates having similar messages or different messages?
Well, first, obviously, Bernadette's message is very different from Marjorie Velasquez's. I think it's fair to say that just about everything Marjorie supports, Bernadette opposes. And talk about common sense. So yeah, it would seem to be common sense that instead of allowing homeless junkies to set up a tent in the middle of a park, you put them in supportive housing, you give them treatment. But you know what Mayor Adams just unveiled today? There's actually they're calling them vending machines that they're putting in all the minority neighborhoods that are filled with crack pipes, Narcan, condoms, all kinds of stuff like that. And I don't understand the purpose of it. why are you enabling people's vices instead of trying to get them clean and trying to get them on their feet? It makes no sense to me. There's your common sense right there. You know, that's one common sense thing. But some of the things Bernadette was talking about, now remember, you know, a strategist, you know, I just help her get her message out. And I think she's doing a great job here tonight. But again, I live here, okay? And I believe, as all Democrats should believe, in two things: diversity and democracy, okay? Now, the Bronx is very diverse in choices of lifestyle. Fordham Hills, for example, very densely populated, a lot of high rises. There are co-ops, so people actually buy apartments in high rises because that's the lifestyle they want. You walk down the streets of City Island, you think you're in a little Nantucket type, you know, village in, you know, by the sea. You know, you walk down Morris Park, and it has a little small town vibe. I happen to not own my home. I happen to live in an apartment building, but I don't want apartment buildings like on every block. I like the fact that my neighborhood has a small town feel.
Right.
And that's the diversity. If you choose to live like in Co-op City, and listen, the views are spectacular from a high-rise apartment. Even one floor above my apartment, I went to my neighbor upstairs, and she actually has a view of Manhattan, which I don't, because she's just one. She actually sees beyond Parkchester to see Manhattan, the skyline.
Right.
And if I had known that, I would have gone upstairs. But I didn't know that. But I mean, the views are spectacular, and frankly, if I lived in Manhattan, that's the lifestyle I would have, because you know they have tall buildings and they're one after the other. But I live here, and I like it here like this. And that's the diversity. You get to choose where you live and how you live. You know, and
I'm hate to cut you off because we got to go to a break. So when we come back, we're going to come back, let you all say a few words, and then we have to conclude the show. But we want to thank you both for all the energy and all the information that you gave. And then when we do come back, because you mentioned something in regards to a bill that Marjorie voted on for the parkland for safe havens. Do you know if that was a bill or the name of the question? The question came in, what was the name of that law or the bill? If you do have
I don't know the name of it, but it basically gives homeless people the right to live outdoors. So the right to live outdoors. So now, why did Bernadette mention the Pelham Parkway Greenway? Because just last year there was a guy who pitched a tent right there and was living
One
there.
tent.
And you know how it is, right? You see fare jumpers jump the turnstiles right in front of the transit police. They don't enforce that. You see people smoking pot walking down the street and walk right by a cop. They don't enforce that. So whatever laws there may or may not be to stop you from putting a tent in a place, they're not going to be enforced. This law just opened up the door to all kinds of really bad stuff. We are going to become the next Seattle, San Francisco, Portland. This is not right.
But thank you for that, FY. Thank you for sharing that, because our viewers need to know. And we're going to look to bring you both back. I know Election Day is in a couple of weeks, so maybe we can get you on again with another 20 minutes of saying whatever you need to say to conclude. We're kind of wrapped up on the segment. So if you had 10 seconds to say something to what would be to a voter right now, Bernadette? What would be your 10 seconds? 10, 9.
If you care about your community, vote for somebody who is going to do something about it. And that person is me, Bernadette Ferrara.
Thank you. Thank you for taking care of the 13th. Thank you for taking care of the neighborhoods. Thank you for taking care of the elders, and thank you for taking care of the youth. And as we talk about our youth, we're going to be right back after a message from the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program.
The Bronx Youth Empowerment Program, YEP, is a youth organization that has served the Northeast Bronx for 17 years. During our tenure, we have provided recreational and educational forums that have nurtured the growth of many youth in the community. YEP has also serviced hundreds of youngsters around New York City. YEP's target audience is youth from the age of 11 to 18 with the goal of helping youth become productive adults. YEP provides young people with resources to explore leadership skills, community involvement, and self-development. YEP consists of weekly and bi-weekly informational sessions with guest speakers from professional, political, and entertainment arenas. Also, as a part of community involvement, YEP will host trips to a variety of venues for educational and recreational experiences. As we continue to partner with other local organizations and serve our community, we will strive to unite and develop the youth in our community. The mission of the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program is building mind, body, and community.
Oh yeah, in our 18th year, the Bronx Youth Empowerment Program is still moving and grooving strong. Never thought 17 years ago when my wife and I, Neve and Shirley King, put this together to help young people at the ages of 18, 11 that will still be engaged in doing it. But I want to thank both of you. I want you to just sit back because this weekend was a very historic weekend as we are celebrating the 50th year anniversary of hip hop, but also as a council member, I acknowledge Char Rock, who was the first female MC ever on the planet who did it early with Melly Mel, the Funky Floor Plus One. She was the one kicked off the first hip hop group ever to be on national television, Saturday Night Live. I remember I was a teenager at that time, and we're so grateful that this Saturday we hosted the 5th annual Shot Rock Day. And at that moment, Mayor Eric Adams did something that was really special. Let's go to the video tape.
1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, how do you do? That's all I got. Oh yeah, it's about that time, y'all. We want to celebrate those who kept us jamming on the venues and making us feel good. So, I want to ask y'all a question. Do y'all hear me out there? Can you hear me good? All right. I just want to ask y'all a question. In 1979, I know some of y'all gonna take a little longer to go back like Betty White said, oh Lord! I just want to know, what was the dance we were doing in 79? Anybody remember? Oh, we got the freak going on up in here. All right, what we doing in 80 then? Oh, we were breakdancing. We didn't break no dancing, break no dance. We were breakdancing, right? Oh, well, some of the people made us dance and made us feel really good at the venues. And that's what the day is all about, celebrating those. In the past, we celebrated DJs, we celebrated artists. Now we're going to take it back to those who made us jump up and down, break dance, do the freak, do the spank, whatever it was. You were doing the bump or the hustle. You just got your groove on at the club. So that's what we're going to celebrate right now. So for all our R&Bs that are here today, Shaw, would you care to join us up here with Shaw? Let's get Shaw up here. 50 years of hip-hop, we still going, y'all. Make some noise for hip-hop. 50 great old years. Matter of fact, somebody told me, if you're not over 50, you can't be celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, but you don't know about it yet. You weren't there.
That was fantastic. We have so many people here from different countries. We got Chile in the house. Chile all the way, he came all the way from Chile. Shout him out. Why you here? Why you here? Hey, I know you're from Chile, but why you here? You said you're from Chile. I guess you're from MC Shot Rock. Let's go. Yo, are y'all ready? Digga, digga. Yes. Digga, digga, this is my girl. Whenever I call her and I say, why digga, I need you to host MC Shot Rock Day. She's always been there for me. I respect female MCs that can take it to the next level. And Rod Digger is the MC that is a prolific MC that can go toe-to-toe with any female MC that's out there. That's why she here on the stage for Shot Rock.
Whenever you call me, I'll be there. Whenever you need me, I'll be there.
Say what?
Whenever you call me, I'll be there. I'll be around.
Hey, Digga, while we wait for them to come up, I just want, can you spit a verse off of this? 50 years of hip-hop, y'all. 50 years of hip-hop. Yeah. day, MC Sha-Rock Day, is all about respecting all of the aesthetics of hip-hop culture, right? And so no matter what events that may be going on, you know, throughout the Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, Long Island, whatever, this is the place to be, because this is where we represent all elements and not just the rap element of hip-hop culture, right? This is what Sha-Rock Day is about. So we're going to bring to the stage these two guys, that's the twins, right? And I used to play with them as a young teenager in Queens, New York. And I thought it was very important that we make sure that we honor the legends, you know, of the legendary sound systems, you know, that gave us those great beats that we can hear from blocks down. And so I want to bring to the stage the legendary brothers, you know, from Queens, New York, who had that legendary sound. And if you was a hip-hop enthusiast and you traveled outside of the Bronx to Queens, New York, then you know what that sound system is. So come to the stage for the legendary Disco Twins. So from the borough of Queens, New York, we're honored to have you and your legendary sound system, you know, from the GLI mixers and speakers that rock the house parties all the way to Sesame, Grand Ballroom, and beyond. Thank you for being pioneers and keeping us all in the groove of the venues. I appreciate y'all. Congratulations to the Disco Twins as we celebrate this third day of MC Sha-Rock Day and the 50th year of anniversary, hip hop anniversary. I just want to say, listen, I love y'all. Thank you for what y'all have did for hip hop culture, because these are some unsung heroes, and I want y'all to remember from this day forward that the disco legendary twins are hip hop. They gave us some of the good and the best sound systems in hip hop culture. Thank you. They got to the gig out in Queens, but they stopped what they had to do, left their system here to come for MC Sha-Rock Day, and I appreciate y'all. Love you. Love you so much. Shout out to you.
Thank you for hooking up two light-skinned cats from Queens. Queens, get the money! Colin Brothers, Tony Tone. All right. Let's give it up again for the Disco Twins. Make some noise for them. Come on, make some noise. Our next honorees are two brothers from Money Earning Mount Vernon. Y'all know them because they've been around doing a whole lot of work. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to bring to the stage Jay and Mark Collins, the Collins Brothers. Music. So we want to thank you, Jay and Mark, for Money Earning Mount Vernon, New York. We honor you for your legendary sound from the King Kong system that rock house parties and community events throughout the tri-state area. Thank you for being pioneers and keeping us in the groove at all the venues. We celebrate you, the Collins Brothers, on this third day of June, the 50th year of the anniversary of hip hop. 5th annual MC Sha-Rock Day. Let's hear it up again for the Collins Brothers. DJ, shut it down. Shut it down. Right up. Water. Listen, the Collins Brothers was in this for a minute. And it was over y'all, we would never have been in it. Along with a slew of other people brought us to the point. Brought us to the point to where we are today. And if it wasn't for y'all, there would be no Jazzy J and Mark C. We love you guys. I don't know who this handsome man is here. Sound check, 1 2 1 2. Sound check. Engineer, correct those levels, engineer. Can you hear me out there? Yeah. Can you hear me out there? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, we don't take this lightly. My name is Mark Collins, from the legendary Collins Brothers of Money Earning Mount Vernon, New York, and I coined that phrase. Heavy D, P. Rock, CL Smooth, Al B. Short, Jeff Red,
We taught all of them. They all was in our camp, right? But truth be told, this is not about us. This is about Shaw Rock. Where you at, baby? Where you at, baby? This ain't about us. We celebrating Shaw Rock today. Come on, Shaw. You know you our sister, right? If it wasn't for her, this day wouldn't happen. If it wasn't for the councilman, where you at, Andy? Come on in, Andy. Where you at? If it wasn't for Andy King, this wouldn't take place. So I appreciate y'all for having us here and honoring us as coming from Money Earning Mount Vernon, the Collins brothers. But listen, it don't end here. This is just the beginning. Right? Because this is the 5th anniversary of Shaw Rock Day, and this is gonna live.
I was the first female MC of hip hop culture, and I know y'all heard them stories. Y'all heard different stories, and I had to come from Germany and just really break it down to everybody why I was the first female MC of hip hop culture to actually show, proof. Because when you are silent, a lot of people take advantage of that, and if you don't say nothing, they gonna rock with it because everybody wants to be first. Everybody want to be in a museum. Everybody want to be on ABC, CBS, BS, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I love this culture, and I'm gonna always fight for the truth, and I'm gonna always fight for all the aesthetics of hip hop culture. And I like to think you and the King, you have always been, the front runner. As I said before, for the people that just came last week, I was honored with being the first female to ever receive the key to the prize. And now, not only do I have MC Shaw Rock Day, but New York City,
Let's give it up for Shaw, rock.
All of y'all being on Instagram and social media, and when y'all see no lies and y'all come back and say, no, this is not true, listen, they're listening to y'all and they heard it. And I didn't do it by myself. Thank you, y'all. Thank you for always rocking with me. Thank you. Now let's get to the music.
All right.
It was a dynamic day there on Shaw Rock Day, and the Mayor Eric Adams on that day announced that June 3rd would be Shaw Rock Day in the city of New York. So Shaw is she's just giddy as a little prom queen right now. So God bless her and be well. Now I want to thank you both for being on King Talk Tuesday. We want to bring you both back as your schedules allow, but we got to wrap up because we're in a little bit of overtime right now. We'll ask and answer some questions that'll come in for you next time when y'all join us before Election Day. But as we always do on King Talk Tuesdays, we end every show with the scripture. And tonight's scripture reads from Jeremiah chapter 29, verses 11 through 14. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, said the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, said the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places where I have driven you, said the Lord. And I will bring you again into the place whence I have caused you to be carried away captive. If no one told you today, God loves you, so do I. Your friend, your brother, and your neighbor, Andy King. Peace.